This recording has to do with the impact of images or the media on our minds and our consciousness. This is not a new concept, for it goes back to the 19th century. There was concern even in the infamous year of 1888, when there were the so-called Jack the Ripper murders. Punch magazine brought up the issue of violent posters, large posters, that were put up in public view, which they believed, quite rightly, would affect the public consciousness. So there's a very interesting question that they ask in the September 15th issue of 1888, in which they say, quote, "Is it not within the bounds of probability that to the highly colored pictorial advertisements to be seen on almost all the hoardings in London, vividly representing sensational scenes of murder, exhibited as the great attractions of certain dramas, the public may be to a certain extent indebted for the horrible crimes in Whitechapel? We say it most seriously. Imagine the effect of these gigantic pictures of violence and assassination by knife and pistol on the morbid imagination of unbalanced minds. These hideous picture posters are a blot on our civilization and a disgrace to the drama." Unquote. There was also a cartoon which came with a poem. Now, the reason for my reading this is because it not only gives a reminder to us of the danger of fake news in which pictures are doctored to shape public perception, with a tendency to push people into a negative direction, but the poem and the content here gives a context to my writing, and in particular to some of the work that I'm with now. And so the poem. The demon set forth in a novel disguise, all methods of mischief the master fiend tries. Quoth he, "There's much ill to be wrought through the eyes. I think without being a boaster I can give their most acute advertisers a start, and beat them all round at the bill sticker's art. I will set up in business in Babylon's mart, as a new Pandemonium poster." So he roved a huge city with walleted waist, with a brush and a stick and a pot full of paste, and there wasn't a wall or a hoarding, a space in a slum or a blank on a fence, a spare square of brick in a neighborhood dense, or a bit of unoccupied boarding. But there the new poster who didn't much care for the menacing legend "Bill Stickers Beware," right soon was tremendously busy, with placards portentous in purple and blue of horrible subject in hideous hue, enough to bemuddle an aeronaut's view, and turn the best steeplejack dizzy. Oh, the flamboyant flair of those fiendish designs, with their sanguine paint splashes and sinister lines! Gehenna seemed visibly glaring in paint from those villainous daubs. There were men at murderous work in malodorous den, and gold women gruesomely staring. The whole sordid drama of murder and guilt, the steel that strikes home, and the blood that is spilt, was pictured in realist colors, with emphasis strong on the black and the red, the fear of the stricken, the glare of the dead. All dreads and disasters and dollars that haunt poor humanity's to smallest state, the horrors of crime and the terrors of fate, as conceived by the crudest of fancies, were lined on those posters in terrible tints, in the style of the vilest sensational prints, or the vulgarest penny romances. That bill sticker paused in his work with a look which betrayed the black demon, and gleesomely shook his sides in a spasm of laughter. Quoth he, with a sinister wag of his head, "By my horns the good artist has lavished the red. This home of caused horror, this house of the dead, looks crimson from basement to rafter. How strange that a civilized city, ho ho! 'Tis their fatuous dream to consider it so, which is nothing too lovely at best, should bestow such a liberal license on spoilers. These mural monstrosities reeking of crime, flaring horridly forth amidst squalor and grime, must have an effect which will tell in good time upon legions of dull-witted toilers. Taken in through the eyes, such suggestions of sin as sympathy morbid and monstrous must win from the grovelling victims of gloom and bad gin, who gapingly gaze on them daily, A fine picture gallery this for the people. Or while this endures, spite of school board and steeple, my work must be going on gaily.